Now, with anti-government protests raging in Hong Kong, China has become especially sensitive about its sovereignty. It's forced fashion brands like Versace, Coach or Givenchy to apologize for T-shirt designs that appear to show Hong Kong, Macau and Taiwan as separate territories. Amazon faced similar pressure when it was found to be selling shirts that support Hong Kong's protesters. Well, Chinese supermodel Liu Wen terminated her contract with Coach, and actress Yang Mi ended her endorsement deal with Versace, stating the motherland's territorial integrity and sovereignty is sacred. The controversy involves two cities that are have semi-autonomous status. That's Hong Kong and Macau. But China also claims Taiwan, a democratic island that Beijing calls a breakaway province. Let's talk about this a bit more with our resident China watcher, Clifford Coonan. Cliff, welcome to the studio. I mean, those examples that we just talked about, they are not the only ones. What other companies have been in trouble with China?
Well, it's been a bit like a fashion parade in a way. It's like, you've got Versace, you've got Coach, you've got Dolce & Gabbana, who famously crashed down in flames after making some very derogatory remarks on Instagram about Chinese people, and also running a picture of a Chinese woman eating spaghetti with chopsticks. And it was a complete disaster. They were forced to retract and apologise, but it's really been just a host of different names. You've had airlines having to change their approach. We've had Korean supermarket chains, Amazon, as you mentioned. So all kinds of different companies have been forced to change their approach or to apologise for things that have happened online.
How does Beijing apply pressure here? Is it just market access? And are companies actually giving in there?
The companies are definitely giving in. What happens is usually that it appears on state media and they'll make some negative comments, and it's sort of jumped on by this army of web warriors, consumer warriors basically, who feel that China's sovereignty is being threatened, and they write these very patriotic...
trolls, really?
Trolls, basically, yeah. But there's millions of them, and it's a big patriotic movement or nationalistic movement. And then the companies very quickly back down. And the Dolce & Gabbana apology was amazing. Donatella Versace has come out with a very, very fulsome apology. The companies are very quick because they realise that the Chinese market is growing so strongly. A third of the entire luxury market in the world is now in China. They need it. Everyone needs the China market, and they're pretty much prepared to apologise for anything. Even if there's nothing happened. I mean, in one case, there was a UBS economist wrote a line in which he was talking about Chinese pigs. For some reason, this was interpreted as being derogatory. UBS put him on there was a big outcry. UBS put him on leave and apologised. So it's affecting all kinds of areas of activity.
Well, it's also happening very much in the online world, I should think, with people going on Twitter and all that. Yeah. But these companies these days, they should have a sort of a notion of what's going to happen if they really don't watch what they are doing. Is there anything to gain from these controversial ads?
I don't think so. I think a lot of it is oversight. They've got these companies that are based in Europe or in the States, and they've got subsidiaries that are coming up with these designs, and they just don't see the back of a T-shirt. They really need to pay more attention. I mean, it was a $425 T-shirt from Versace as well.
That is a lot of money, for a T-shirt.
Particularly, and they've destroyed their entire stock of them. But I think it's an oversight thing rather than anything malicious, because the market is too important for them to risk it, I think, at this point, because they could be boycotted. There was one example, was Lotte, the Korean retail chain. They were involved they gave some of their land to the Korean government to site some US missiles. And the Chinese government effectively orchestrated a boycott. And Lotte had invested $6 billion in China, and they had to just withdraw. All their business is gone. So the risks are very, very high.
So your recommendation for any textile business is only plain T-shirts in China?
That's right, yeah.
OK. Clifford Coonan, thank you very much for this insight.